Hey guys, what's going on? So for this devlog, we're going to be making a turret, which is going to be the hazard for the second area of the game. So our idea for the second area is that it's like a prison. So when we were thinking of stage hazards that we could do for this area, we thought it'd be interesting to do something like a prison break concept. So what we have are these turrets that would shoot you if you get spotted by a spotlight. So what we're doing in this devlog is actually making that entire system, and hopefully it'll come out great. So right now I'm actually making the spotlight bridge, which is going to go around the stage and detect the player. So I'm making a collision, so when the player steps into that collision, boom, activates a thing. Now we need to make the spotlight move. So for this, I'm actually going to be using the path 2D in Godot. So basically, this will let you draw a path and we'll attach it to the spotlight so that thing can move around and follow the path exactly. To make the spotlight follow along the path, we'll be using an animation node here. So basically, we're just going to animate the unit offset of the path. So this is extremely useful because now we can draw a path, any path we want, in any of the levels for the spotlight to follow. So let's just give it a try out in the game right now. And the thing just stops. So don't forget to check your collisions, because here it wasn't only detecting the player, it was also detecting the world. So when it came in contact to a wall, it just stopped. So now we see it's moving around, it's going back and forth. When the player comes into contact with the spotlight, it stops moving and it emits the signal that the player was actually detected. So, well, nothing happens when the signal is emitted. So now we can actually go into making the turret that will fire when the player is detected by the spotlight. So here we're starting with the art because I just want to. I don't think I have a hard time working on these things when they don't actually look the way I want it to. But I'll actually go back into this with a second art pass just to clean it up a little bit when my boy comes back and is able to work on it. So here we're just adding all of the nodes that will come in handy, spicing it up a little bit. Alright, so here we're actually coding a way for the turret itself to follow the player. So what I did was actually just get the rotation of the head and just, match it up to look at the player when it's activated. So if any other developers are wondering why I'm putting get global position here in GD script instead of just saying dot global position, it's because I actually edited that get global function for the player specifically to get the center of the player and not just actually where it is. This is a little nitpicky. It's because we actually had a Y sort and we needed the player to be above where the actual position is. So, something like that. It's pretty jank, but it works. So now this is actually just an aside about how my approach is to, coding here in Godot. I'm not actually like a computer scientist or even I wouldn't even consider myself a coder, so to speak. We just make these games as our hobby. So when it comes to learning a GD script or really any game engine, sometimes it's best to really just, figure out like what works for you. It might not be the most optimal solution, but as long as the gameplay doesn't lag, it doesn't actually affect performance that much. Sometimes you should just, kind of just go for it, even if it feels really janky. If it ain't broken, I think that's good enough. Because I think one of the biggest setbacks, and we had this when we were trying to make our Metroidvania, so we tried too hard to, I guess, optimize it too much. And while optimizing is very important for any game, like it gives the polish, I think it's also important to just get something out there, and actually have fun doing it. I remember losing hair over just being so frustrated of like not getting my code to work when there was like just an easier way to do it. And sometimes just getting the easier way out there and then maybe coming back to it and making it better, I think that's already good enough. Especially, if you're just a hobbyist game developer like myself. The joy is actually getting the game to do what you want, right? And at the end of the day, however you get there, as long as you get there, I think that's what's important. And of course, that you have fun while doing it. Anyway, enough of that. So here we're adding collision, so you can actually bump into it. You can just walk through it. And we are also smoothing out the angle of how it goes through it. So here we actually used if you saw earlier, we used a LYMBUS angle, so that will just interpolate between the current angle and the target angle, which is of course to look at the player. So it's just a little smoother, looks a little better. And yeah, we're just cleaning up a little bit. We're just cleaning it up a little bit. So now we actually need our turret to shoot something. So luckily for me, I've already made node that actually shoots. So this is all pre-programmed. So what I like about Godot is that everything's so modular. You can make one object, you can just slot it in, change a few things, and boom, get it to do what you want. So here we're just referencing the shooter itself, and we're just gonna have it fire. And just to test it, we're just gonna have it, just keep firing at us and see if it all works. So, there you go. That's the kind of danger we want. So here we're actually just going to change the bullet that it's shooting into the actual bullet that we wanted to shoot in this area. So the whole theme of this area, again, is like a prison. So we wanted to shoot these locked things and actually add a locked card to your hand that you're forced to play to discard. So that's kind of the mechanic of the area. And, it's a little boring that these things are just pooping out these bullets. So we're gonna have it a little more juice so you can actually see it shooting. So again, gotta put in an animator node and let's just start animating. So here we're actually going to tie the shoot animation to the actual function of shooting. So here we're just tying it in and also attaching it to a timer so it doesn't just keep firing. And that should be good to go. So here we're just adding a little bit more spice, a little bit more animations. So we need a deactivated state for when the turrets aren't active, and we need a way to show that it's being activated. So here you just see me animating, very basic on-off using the assets that we have right here. So we can enjoy this for a few seconds before we go into finally connecting the spotlight to the turrets being activated. So finally, to tie everything together, we just need to actually connect that emit signal that we made with the spotlight like 5 minutes ago and connect it up to the turrets. So for this, I'm actually going to have to be coding it into the room script itself to handle everything because it's the parent node. So here you just see me doing all of that. I don't want to really go into too much detail about it, but yeah, we're just connecting signals together to get it to go. So aside from also connecting the signals, we want our turrets to stop shooting after a set amount of time and for the spotlight to come back. So again, that's just what you see me doing here. Just really fast forward, don't want to make this too long of a video. And now we can finally see the final result of all of our efforts. So Rafa came back and we were able to do a second art pass for the turrets and also for the spotlight. So what you're seeing is the visual upgrade, probably the final version for these assets. So we also went ahead and started adding these spotlights and of course the pathing that we made into all of the levels. So you can see, you can just simply drag a path, the spotlight will automatically follow it on runtime. So there you have it. We've added these spotlights and of course these turrets into all of the levels in the second act. And you can see here the gameplay. That's how it's functioning. You may have noticed we also changed the UI a little bit. It was a little too crowded. So we're trying this one out. Might make more changes to it, especially for the health bar because it's like a little bit to the side. But yeah, hope you really enjoyed this video. We're trying to be more consistent in uploading these devlogs so that we can keep people updated. And just to make sure that we ourselves stay updated with the game too. So yeah, if you liked it and enjoyed it, we wouldn't mind if you hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. Tell us what you think in the comments. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.